Do you want to reach financial freedom through property in under 10 years? My name is Lawrence. I've got 10 years of experience in the lower income, affordable housing sector in South Africa, and I am financially free, which means that my passive income generated from property rentals covers my lifestyle costs, meaning I don't have to work. What we're going to do today is we're going to go and do an area drive-by and look at some of the good areas to invest, the bad areas to invest, and also look at some of the deals that I've done in the last 10 years. So we're about to head into the Old South, which is my preferred area of investment. And a lot of people think it's crazy. You know, they think of areas like Rosettenville, Turffontein, Kenilworth, you know, these lower income areas, and they think it's very risky. But the reality is risk and reward are two sides of the same coin. So I'd much rather go into these higher risk areas where you've got good yield, you've got potential cash flow, versus going to an area like Fourways, where, you know, you're buying for $1 million and your rent is 10,000, so maybe your rent is covering your bond. You're not left with any kind of profit or cash flow. Yes, your risk is lower, your yield is lower. So here we are on the main road, or one of the main roads in the Old South, and I tend to avoid the main roads because it tends to just be higher delinquency rates. There's more gangs, there's more opportunistic criminals that take advantage. Here on the right is quite a well-known hijacked building. This one has been hijacked for a good 10 years. You can see by the bricked up walls that they're trying to deal with it, but they haven't really taken enough action. There are still good buildings in the main street, but I would just say your risk premium when you're close to the main economic activity or the main roads is too high for me, which is why I tend to move a little bit outside of the main streets. I like to go 3 to 5K outside of the center of the South, and prefer to invest more in the suburbs. You attract families, you attract, working class people, and your risk of delinquent behavior is much lower. Now, of course, I didn't know this when I started out, and there was no one really doing the kind of content that I'm doing to teach people about where to invest and where not. So I had to learn by making mistakes, which is why my first block of flats investment was not the best one. And you'll see we're driving to it now. It's pretty much 2 minutes away from the main streets. Again, I didn't know what I was doing and I had to learn. Here we're coming onto Lawn Street. This is one of the highest risk streets in the area. There's tons of hijacked buildings and lots of delinquent behavior. I'm a firm believer that if you provide a good quality product, you maintain the building well, you vet your tenants, you do proper and effective eviction practices, you can still get good returns here, but you need to make sure that your return warrants the risk that you're taking. But here on the right is the first block of flats that I ever bought. 6 times 2 bedroom units, generating about 35,000 per month, and we bought it for 1.35. So I did well by buying low, and the rent is good, but I've had so much delinquent behavior and so much hassles. So here we're coming onto the main road, the intersection between Prairie and Diagonal Streets. And one of the main reasons why this is such an attractive investment area is because it's so close to CBD. It's a 5-minute drive and you're in the middle of town, you're in the middle of the economic hub. So lots of people want to stay here, want to live here, and they're willing to pay. It's just about managing it correctly. So here on the right, we've got a building that was burned down because it was hijacked. But as you can see, they are starting to fix it up and develop it back up, which is nice to see. This building here used to be hijacked by a Nigerian drug lord and was used as a prostitution ring, but they've also cleaned that up. This is still a hijacked building, and unfortunately some terrible stuff happens. Here's a ShopRite. You'll often find that ShopRites are in your more affordable areas because it's your lowest cost retail provider. So I often look for, ShopRites and try and find investment areas that are around that, because that's usually the kind of demographic and affordability that is attractive to high yielding properties. So to cement my point that you can still get a good, safe return even in a high risk area when you know what you're doing, let me show you probably my flagship property. It's in what most people would consider a very dodgy part of town. It's on Tramway Street, which is one of the main streets in Turffontein. And I'm sure people that are familiar with this area would probably call this, a no-go zone. But this deal has performed phenomenally well. We've had it for about 3 years, and in the past 3 years, we have not had one delinquent tenant. We have not had 1 cent not paid on time. You know, that doesn't always happen. That's the fairy tale, but I do want to show you that it's possible in a high risk area to still find a good solid return. So on the right here is the building. It's called Elof Court. I've got a case study of it on my YouTube channel, so go check it out. It's 9 times 2 bedroom. We bought it for 2 million. It's making 45,000 Rand like clockwork every single month. So in summary, risk and reward are 2 sides of the same coin. You're not going to get a good return if you're not taking some level of risk. Now you can mitigate that risk by getting some education, getting coached by an experienced mentor, or to partner with someone who's got experience in the field. I hope you enjoyed this content. Give it a thumbs up and remember to share with friends and family. If you want to join my property coaching program, please click the link below and apply. Unfortunately, I can only take on 10 students per year, so it's going to come on a first come, first served basis. Until next time, happy investing.